The avoidant person habitually pushes away partners and convinces themselves that each departure represents escape from suffocating demands or incompatible dynamics. Their defensive system requires them to rationalize their withdrawal as necessary, self-protection rather than loss of something valuable. However, certain types of partners haunt them long after separation, triggering profound regret that penetrates their usual emotional detachment. These specific individuals possessed qualities so rare that the avoidant person recognizes only after permanent loss that they destroyed something irreplaceable through their defensive patterns, people who loved them without needing them. The avoidant person experiences haunting regret after leaving someone who genuinely desired their presence without requiring it for emotional survival or happiness. This rare individual maintained robust independent life, unshakable self-worth, and genuine fulfillment that existed completely separate from the relationship. They wanted the avoidant person's company without needing their validation, creating the exact dynamic that could have sustained lifelong connection without triggering fears of engulfment. The avoidant person realizes too late that they encountered someone who solved their fundamental relationship problem: how to experience intimacy without losing autonomy. This person offered connection without suffocation, love without dependency, and commitment without imprisonment. The regret intensifies as they recognize that their defensive patterns destroyed the only type of relationship their attachment style could have sustained. They pushed away someone who would have granted them the freedom they desperately needed while providing the acceptance they secretly craved, people who saw through their defenses with compassion. The avoidant person deeply regrets leaving someone who possessed the emotional intelligence to recognize their difficult behaviors as protective mechanisms rather than character flaws. This rare individual saw the wounded child beneath the armor of detachment, understanding that their dismissiveness masked fear rather than genuine indifference. However, this compassionate perception came without the enabling or boundary dissolution that typically accompanies it. The regret emerges from recognizing they were truly seen and accepted for who they actually are rather than who they pretended to be. This person understood their struggles with vulnerability while maintaining enough self-respect to refuse tolerating abuse or consistent emotional unavailability indefinitely. The avoidant person realizes they lost someone who could have held space for their healing journey without requiring they transform on anyone else's timeline. They destroyed rare opportunity to be known completely without being judged or abandoned. People who refuse to chase or beg. The avoidant person experiences profound regret after leaving someone who maintained their dignity and self-respect rather than desperately pursuing or pleading for the relationship to continue. This rare individual demonstrated through calm boundaries that their worth was non-negotiable, that they would not compromise their dignity by chasing someone emotionally unavailable. When the avoidant person employed their usual distancing strategies, this person responded with acceptance rather than anxious pursuit. The regret intensifies as the avoidant person recognizes that this person's refusal to chase represented strength rather than lack of care. They realize too late that someone who respects themselves enough to walk away from poor treatment possesses exactly the qualities necessary for healthy partnership. They encounter the painful irony that the person they could have respected and sustained connection with was the one who refused to tolerate their defensive patterns, leaving them before they could leave first. People who thrive spectacularly after they left. The avoidant person deeply regrets leaving someone who demonstrated through visible flourishing that their presence was limiting rather than enhancing. This rare individual not only survived the separation but dramatically improved, radiating happiness, success, and vitality that suggests liberation rather than loss. Their visible thriving contradicts the avoidant person's unconscious assumption that they held essential significance in that person's well-being.